I just kept one slide. So compliance is mostly like audit approach, and it is close-ended, and then reactive risk management and forward-looking. However, due diligence is risk-based approach, and it is open-ended, and proactive risk management and backward-looking. History, the how to say it, like the trend, previous trend, how it was. So the due diligence is like more broad, more how to say it, recent, and it is considered beyond compliance and better than compliance. So yes, this is like an icebreaker at the beginning of the session. So we all know compliance audits, and there are different type of compliance audits, like technical compliance audit, social compliance audit, environmental compliance audit, and there are some sub-segments as well. So LEED certification for a building, and then product technical or how to say material certification. There are many types of compliance in terms of material, in terms of social and environmental and site. So yeah, now the days actually have changed, and so we have to look forward, and basically the future looking thing is due diligence. And also due diligence is like, it's kind of a cycle. It's open-ended. It need to be continual. It need to have continual improvement. So yeah, that's kind of due diligence. Okay. So this is the slide which actually we have actually seen in our first session. On the right side, there is a, how to say it, like a flow chart. That flow chart we have actually seen in last session. So the steps of sustainability reporting. So it is again brought in as a kind of, how to say it, refresher or like flashback. So it is like undertaking system and key elements of reporting standards. That's the top part. And in the middle, it is like determining material topic. Then once the material topics are determined, and then data collection and analyzing data and storyline creation and reporting. So this is the kind of major activities, or like how to say it, like key activities of a sustainability reporting initiative. And in this segment, reporting principles are applied. So down the line, we will see what are the reporting principles. And then once all these are done, then we need to prepare a content index, which we have seen in the last class, that GRI content index is different, and it is kept at the end of the report. So the reader can easily find his topic or her topic of interest in the report very quickly. It can actually navigate, so the reader can navigate very quickly in the report. So then approval and publication, so approval from the top management, because again, just kind of a flashback. Sustainability reporting is a thing that telling stories through data and information, and also infographics and a lot of, how to say it, diagrams in the public domain. So usually these data are not shared in the public domain. So only we have some platforms where now the reports are available, like RSC or Accord for Bangladesh, and then STAR platform for ILO Better program, then BSCI, SMETA, and then HIG, ZAC. These are like fragmented different platforms where different types of data are uploaded, and with the access to these platforms, anyone can have these data. However, sustainability reporting is a consolidated information and data from or beyond combining all these platforms, and it is totally voluntary. If an entrepreneur think that, yes, I'm going to share this story or my data, my information, or my ESG performance to the outside world. It could be local, it could be international, bias, communities, everyone. So that's totally voluntary. And most importantly, it is that data will be shared in the public domain, and anyone can come back and ask the question about the credentials, about the quality, and any other, how to say it, point regarding the report published. So we have to be very careful that this is a voluntary initiative, and we are going to say a lot of things publicly on company's website, or in through print media, or through electronic media, or through a website that will go in the public domain, and anyone can come back and ask questions and challenge the data. So that's kind of the thing. We have to be prepared. So data need to be approved. The report need to be approved from the top management before it gets published. Okay, so moving on. So we all know about this, how to say, 3 cycles about this social, environmental, and economic, and then within all 3, sustainability. That was kind of conceptualized very long back, and they were called like 3 pillars of sustainability. Now it is like going actually beyond that 3 cycles. There are more elements are added with the definition of sustainability. However, our main objective for this slide is that it's not looking into the definition. Rather, we look into the left side box in the white, that what are the external expectations we have to consider to secure our business. So external expectations. Definitely, when we call business, so business run with the motivation to make profit. So making profit cannot be the only motivation. It is definitely is the biggest motivation, but it cannot be and should not be the only motivation. So what are the external expectations? So we have to consider to secure our business. This is number 1 kind of prompt or the question. In which field do we have a positive or negative influence on sustainable development? So we have to ask the question, in which field we have that positive or negative influence on sustainable development. So these are the things we need to check and we need to think for a business. It could be also for a non-profit organization, because I believe we have a very wide range of participants here, and some are very mature. And then we have very different types of business or like organization criteria in Bangladesh, also in the world. So it's like for-profit business, non-profit business, social business, charity, and then how to say it, like cooperatives. So many types of registrations of entities are available even in Bangladesh. So usually while we are discussing this sustainability thing, majority of the participants from in this session will be focusing towards for-profit business. That's like as usual business. So there are definitely organizations who are non-profit, who are like kind of charities, or who could be cooperatives. However, our main focus is always to publish the data information about for-profit business and non-profit business. That's kind of the broad kind of divisions. If we can address it, then everything else will fit in these 2 kind of brackets. So what are our external expectations, and where do we influence positively and negatively in terms of sustainable development? Let's think about your own organizations, and we go forward with the slides for today. Okay. So what is an impact? Because definitely a dictionary has a meaning, and also different standards, management standards may have a different meaning. But for sustainability or sustainability world, it is that the effect an organization has or would have on the economy, environment, or people, including on their human rights as a result of its activities or business relationships. So, impact, it is the effect of an organization on social, environmental, or people. And specifically, you can just actually notice that human rights are brought in very clearly and separately here. Even if social is here, economy, environment, people, that is social, but still human rights is, because human rights is a very broad thing and a very important thing. And in many times, it is kind of a zero tolerance area. So even if so much so all other areas are addressed, if the human rights are jeopardized or like not addressed, then all the efforts and how to say it, initiatives may not like be enough for a sustainable society or sustainable future. So how to identify, so let's see, identify impact. So economic impact, that's the contribution to GDP and wealth distribution. Just these are kind of examples. So contribution to GDP and wealth distribution. So definitely contribution to GDP, of course, any industry has contribution, no matter how small and how big it is, or as a sector, it has contribution. And wealth distribution, of course, people get salaries and other benefits, admissible incomes. So they get their salaries and wages, and that's how the wealth is distributed through a company and its activities. So environmental impact, of course, water depletion and ecosystem disruption. So yeah, water intensive industry definitely has the potential to deplete water of an entire region. So we know that in some parts of the world, water is very scarce, and as near as in Chennai, so water crisis is very high in the dry season, and the government is not allowing any industry to actually start in Chennai or around Chennai region without a zero liquid discharge plant, and that's very expensive. So business viability around that. So it could be that in that region, water intensive industries may not flourish. So this water depletion, then ecosystem disruption, of course, someone may call it like a biodiversity, actually degradation of the biodiversity or disturbing the
না পারেন আপনি শনিবার এটা আবার ইয়ে করতে পারবেন। আবার ক্লাসটা আবার রেকর্ডেড হয়ে থাকে, ওটা আবার ওরা মেইলে দিয়ে দেয়।
Okay,
আপনি
so
ওখান থেকে আবার
মিউট
করে নিতে পারেন।
to mute, please.
নরমালি তো ধরেন যে বেশিরভাগই এগুলো ধরেন যে প্রফেশনাল দ্বারা এরাই ম্যাক্সিমাম, ফ্রেশার তো আমি দেখলাম
Okay, thank you. So ecosystem disruption, we know that the activities we are doing now in the world in last like 200 years, it was never before. And also specifically industrial revolution or manufacturing industry has very detrimental effect on the ecosystem. So we have to make sure that the impact is not as bad that the ecosystem is totally disrupted. And then social impact is like income generation and social stability. Of course, industrial activities generates income for the local community, as well as it attracts people from outside to migrate internally or externally, and that creates income. And then social stability, definitely with income, no matter how small, how big it is. So we cannot actually deny that economic activities, manufacturing activities are bringing in the social stability. So yeah. So there was a question. So what is your take on status of equal opportunity in Bangladesh? Do you think that often the concept is misled by organization and individual? Let's take the question at the end because it's not very clear. So we'll discuss at the end. So probably I need a little more detail about the context of the question. So well, moving on. So identification of potential and actual impact. See, this is very interesting. So there are 5 types of impacts. So in the realm of sustainability. So if we look into, these are potential and actual. It could be an actual impact already happened, or there is a potential that it may happen soon, or may happen maybe in less frequency. And then positive and negative. So we all know any activity has a positive impact and negative impact. So let's go beyond this sustainability area. So this social media and what is that apps, different apps. So that created both positive and negative impacts on the generation. We are now actually seeing the young generation. So a manufacturing activity may have also positive and negative impacts. In terms of environmental, we usually see the impacts are negative, but in terms of social, we usually see the impacts are positive. And the impact could be long-term and short-term. So we have actually seen that as for any activities in terms of business activities. So there are some short-term impacts as well as long-term impacts. So the water depletion of the water layer, it's a thing that occur for a very long time. Like after extracting water for like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, the water layer gets kind of more depleted and more down. So it's like, and it has a very long time effect as well. But the short time effect definitely, like chemical spillage or like an accident. We have seen like an accident in the container depot a year ago, a blast, a very massive blast of chemical storage, the container depot in Chittagong. So that definitely has dual effect. It could be long-term and short-term both. So impact could be long-term, short-term, or it could be long-term and short-term both. So then intended and unintended, definitely. So any effect, usually people see that, okay, I am actually addressing all intended negative impacts, but there could be some areas where there are some unintended effect in the long term, which are missed many times. So reversible and irreversible. So there are some damage in some, especially some environmental areas or like environmentally sensitive or highly sensitive areas. So the environment cannot be brought back at the same like previous. But in some areas, we have seen that people are actually, how to say it, trying to bring back the environment and as well as trying to bring back the native species once those are available. But it is very expensive, tiresome, and also only the rich part of the world, they can do it easily. But definitely we have seen in the video of Apple sustainability report, they have also said that they have planted forest in Paraguay, in Kenya, so also in Colombia. So they are doing very big. So these forests are kind of cleared for either for cultivation of crop or for kind of cultivation of cattle or for like woods, logs, and people actually cleared off those forests. So there are some initiatives going on trying to reverse the environment, but it's not easy. So these are the 5 types of actually impacts. So potential and actual, positive and negative, long term and short term, intended, unintended, reversible and irreversible. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so we have learned about the, I mean, how to say, like the term material topic, and I have actually clearly shared with you to make it easy that a material topic is important topic. It's like synonymous. So what is important topic, material topic, or significant topic for a company? So we have seen it in our last session, and we'll see it again. So material topic are those that represent the organization's most significant impact on the economy, environmental, people, including impacts on human rights. Again, human rights are separately mentioned. So significant impact, and we have learned 5 types of impact identification, and then the significant impacts on economy, environmental, people, including human rights. So the topic, those who are significant, we will try to look into again, and how we can actually identify material topics for a company. Let's have a look. And as we have discussed in our last session. So as we have discussed in our last session. Please kindly mute yourself who are not talking. If you don't have any question, please mute yourself. Okay. So materiality assessment process, we'll definitely look into this materiality assessment process. So GRI has a very structured materiality assessment process, and this is GRI standard 2021, and this standard is publicly available. You can search it and you can find it online available. And again, it's a disclaimer that the information used in this slide are sourced from publicly available information, and as well as through our experience we have gathered, and it is cleared from any copyright boundaries or like obligations. So these are steps how sustainability topics are actually identified. So the first 1, 2, 3 is within one box, and that has the title, identify and assess impacts on the ongoing basis. It says it is not that we do it and we stop. It's an ongoing process. Every year we need to do. So every year we'll be going and doing it. So this thing, and the second box is step 4, and that's determining material topics for reporting. Okay, so let's look into the steps. Understand the organization's context. Okay, we will look into it in detail. Use the sector standard to understand the sector's context. So then step 2 is identify actual and potential impacts. We have learned about actual and potential impact, and through the activities of a company, how it is actually impacting. Consider the topics and impacts described in the sector standard. So we will look into it. And then step 3, assess the significance of the impacts. So we have to find out how significant the impact is. And for step 2 and 3, we will engage with relevant stakeholders and experts. GRI says that an organization should engage their stakeholders for step 2 and 3. So identify actual potential impact and assess the significance of the impact. That's how it's like it starts. So 1, 2, 3, for 2 and 3, we engage with stakeholders and experts. Then once we get some of the topics, then what we'll do, so we'll do prioritize the most significant impacts for reporting. So it could be that for a company, there could be like 30 topics, there could be 40 topics of importance or like material topics. But definitely, a company cannot report on all the topics. And also, it is not only reporting, it is also managing those topics. So management of material topic, that is also important. So if we say that this is our material topic, we have to report, and also we have to manage those material topics. And how to manage the material topic, it is described in detail in GRI standards. And the GRI standards is publicly available, which is a very broad document. So consolidated GRI standard, it's more than 860 pages. But about 300 pages we don't need because that's sector standard. So sector standards are not yet published for our common sectors. So oil, gas, chemical, agriculture, if someone is from those sectors, you will find standards for you. But otherwise, sector standards are not yet available. But we are expecting that there will be sector standard available for textile and ready-made garment as soon as probably next year. So that's in the drafting stage. Okay, so testing the material topic against the topics in the sector standard. So sector standard, if it doesn't fit in, so we'll not identify that. Okay. Moving on, materiality assessment process. Again, we are refreshing it. So understanding the organization's context, identification of potential and actual impacts, assessing significance of the impact, and prioritizing the impact. So it could be, again, that we end up about 12, 13, or 15 material topics out of initial identification of like 40 material topics. Let's have a look. So how to understand, how to do the materiality assessment. So we'll look into step by step. So understanding the organization's context. So it is first that activities, policies and strategies. And then what are the policy of an organization or a company and the strategy and type of product and services a business is producing or providing. Operations of the organization, manufacturing, sales, etc. Location of activities, sectors, employees, etc. So understanding the organization's context, it's like very broad thing. So when we look into a company's how to say policies, strategies, products, services, and location of activities, sectors, employees, these are like very first thing to look into. A multinational company will have different contexts than a very local company. So a company with 50,000 employees will have definitely a different context than a company with only 500 employees. A company from a service sector will have a different context than a manufacturing sector. A highly hazardous chemical manufacturing company will have a different context than a safer manufacturer, like only, how to say, like only who are producing agricultural exports, who are making only that, or agricultural processing company. So the context is very important. Then business relationship. So how is the relationship? Is it a joint venture? Is it a franchisee of a multinational company? Like in Bangladesh, we have few franchisees like Gloria Jean Coffee, and then we have KFC franchisees, and then also multinational franchisees, food chain. I'm just talking. So these are the franchisee business. We have other franchisees like 5-star hotel chains. We have franchisees of these big hotel chains. So how the business is, the type of business, as I mentioned, for profit, non-profit, or charity, cooperatives. So these are the main thing. And then manufacturing or service, again, Short or long-term project base. It could be a short-term project. A company may have that mandate only, that only 3 years project to address some pressing need of an area or a segment of a society, or like a Rohingya people. So we know that it's kind of a thing around 6, 7 years or 8 years happening in Cox's Bazar. We don't know when it will end, but there are many projects to support the Rohingya people in many areas like education, maternal health, or like security. So there are many projects. It could be short term. And also location of business. Again, we have discussed. So location of business, where it is located. Economic zone, or like in a very densely populated locality, or in a near to a protected forest, or in multiple countries. So these are all the things we need to look into. Then sustainability context. So economic, environmental, human rights, and other social challenges at local, regional, and global level. Applicable law and regulation, both global and domestic. And you see, definitely, so the law, applicable law, as I have mentioned, this due diligence thing. This due diligence is German due diligence law. It came first. And also the European due diligence law or act. So these are the things affecting us, even if we are sitting in Bangladesh and we are manufacturing here, because that's kind of the regulation we are under if we would like to do business or export goods to Europe or in Germany. Okay. So stakeholders. So who are the stakeholders? Identify, and then inclusive, engage, like strong, or like weak, and then powerful, poor, or like which are the age group. So stakeholder identification, big thing, and understand needs and expectation, of course. So the expectations and needs of stakeholders are very important. Like consumers are very big stakeholders. Then shareholders are big stakeholders. So understanding their expectations and needs are very important to understand the context of an organization. Okay. Very interesting. How to assess significance of the impact. Very, very simple, but very interesting. So to identify significance of an impact, we have to look into severity only. So how severe was the impact? Or we may say how big it was or how small it was. And then for potential impact, we will definitely look into the severity and the likelihood. So how much is the probability to actually happen? So these are the kind of very basic thing to identify or assess the significance of the impact. Okay, more detail. So for human rights, it is always important, is because, as I have mentioned, the human right is separately talked about in every how to say it, segment of the standard. So it says the severity of the impact takes precedence over likelihood. So when we go for assessing significance of impact that is related to human rights, so the severity of the impact will always will take precedence over likelihood. For example, like a machine can be very dangerous to handle. So if someone kind of, how to say it, fails to manage the safety or like if a person or an operator actually doesn't take precaution, it can be fatal for that person. So here the formula is likelihood is secondary. So severity is primary. So severity, we can see that there is a probability that a person may lose his limbs or may die if he or she doesn't take proper precaution. So here, severity of the impact is very important and it will take precedence over likelihood. It could be that in last 5 years, there was no accident for that machine, but still we cannot off guard or we cannot take it granted that, okay, so nothing has happened in 5 years, so we can overlook this. No, the thing is, the severity is very high, so we have to be always prepared. And then scale, how much the effect is or could be. So definitely. Then scope, how widespread the impact is or could be. How widespread, definitely the effect is it like very broad or widespread, or it is confined within the factory premise or like a business premise? So that also need to be looked into. Okay, just kind of further dissection of the significance of the impact, how to do. So we will see dimension definition and few examples. So scale. So scale, how it is actually mentioned here. How grave or serious the impact would be. So example could be potentially less severe when it says a 14-year-old helping out behind the counter in the family store. Yes, if it is a family store, if it is a family business, definitely a 14-year-old boy or girl can help behind to run the family business. But potentially more severe, a 10-year-old child working in a artisanal mining. So mining is always hazardous, and a child of 10 years old working in that mining, it is not family owned. So it is definitely run by some company or there are some supervisors. So definitely potentially more severe area. So this is the example. So how grave or serious the impact would be. And then scope, how widespread the impact would be. So for example, how many people would be affected, as I have mentioned. So 1 or 2 individuals or entire community. So as I have mentioned, is it affecting only the chemical area, for example, 1 or 2 personnel are affected, or the entire factory, or the spillage has occurred in such a big area, like the entire community or city was affected. Like in Bhopal disaster, an entire city was affected. So it's a very, very big disaster. And it was avoidable. If you see the kind of research report or investigation report still available on YouTube. So Bhopal chemical accident could have been prevented if the authorities were careful. So the scope, then remediability. So how hard would be to put the right resulting in harm. Say worker is fired on a discriminatory basis, but can be promptly reinstated with appropriate compensation, apologies, and guarantee of non-repetition. So definitely, it is a less how to say it, impactful thing. Wrongly fired employee over discrimination bias, so it can be corrected quickly. But a worker contracts an incurable disease and then due to a lack of appropriate health and safety measures. So this is like potentially severe thing, and it could be a side effect of handling of a chemical repeatedly for over a few years or some years or maybe decades. So it could be for a highly chemical exposure area that harm for because if we go to tanning process in leather, I have opportunities to visit in leather tanneries. So many of the workers are exposed to chemicals repetitively over decades. So they develop different complications, and also using heavy machineries over years, they actually become like how to kind of their arms or their legs become like weak. They cannot work for very long if they continue to work for the same machine for the same process. So it is that if it is remediable or not. So we have also seen the examples. So let's see some more examples how companies report or prioritize uh, their human rights areas. So H&M, we all know, is a big name, the biggest retailer in the world. So it's from apparel sector. So how they have actually mentioned the salient human rights issues and how they have identified those. So it's fair living wages, health and safety, forced labor, discrimination and harassment, child labor, freedom of association and collective bargaining, social security, land rights, working hours, access to water. So these are the human rights areas H&M identified, and we took this information from Sustainability Report 2015, long back. They have published it. So H&M is always progressive in their sustainability work. So they have declared all these things more than how to say it, like 8 years ago, 9 years, almost 9 years now. So Unilever, we all know, Unilever is a big company, global company, and we are user of Unilever in everyday life. So FMCG company, fast moving consumer goods, including food and beverage. So they have identified that discrimination is an area where they
আমার
are.
ক্লাস চলতেছে, ক্লাস করতেছে।
My God. Please, can you kindly mute? Okay. So they have identified discrimination, fair wages, forced labor, freedom of association, harassment, health and safety, land rights, working hours. These are their priority areas. That's how they have identified. And this is also taken from their 2015 report. So we have used this older example that when even long back, the bigger companies, they have started looking into these areas, and still we are actually seeing it after 8 years or 9 years as kind of new system or new things coming. So this human rights area, there are some similarities between those companies, like working hours cited by both, and then access to water also by both the companies, and then fair wages or living wages, freedom of association, discrimination, and then harassment. So these are like available in both the companies, multinationals and big examples, big companies, big corporations. So their shareholders, their consumers have like big expectations from these companies. And these companies are basically issuing their report, transparency report, regularly addressing these areas. And nobody actually said them in 2015 to talk about this area. But the expectation was all from consumers, all from different stakeholders. So they have actually aligned their initiatives, their work around these areas. Okay, so moving on. This is interesting. Prioritize most significant impact. So we've discussed that there are topics. There will be some topics. We cannot talk and manage all the topics, but we have to be like very selective in a methodical way that to prioritize our topic. So we need to set threshold to determine which topic are material. We can set a threshold that, okay, so how we will see that which are our material topic. We can put different numbers, and then grouping impacts into topics, that is energy and GHG emission, water and wastewater. We can group together or club together. We can make a cluster like energy and GHG emission, one topic. We can cluster those. Water and wastewater, we can cluster those as kind of one topic. Testing, material topics with applicable sector standards, definitely. we'll test it, and approval of the material topic from top management. This is very important. Top management need to be engaged, and they need to know, even if they don't actually dig into deep for reports, and even if some top management people they don't understand this whole dynamics of sustainability, but we have to break it down in a very simple way, and we have to share that these are the topics we will be managing, we will be discussing, and the data and information around the topic for our company will be discussed and shared publicly. So if they agree, then we will only do. If it is that the management will then ask a few questions or many questions, what will happen, how much you are going to share, and so what if it fires back on us? So there will be definitely, because entrepreneurs, they're smart people, they'll definitely ask many questions. So we have to reply those questions, and we have to take their approval. We have to onboard them in this initiative, and only then we will publish it. So then determining what to report for each material topic. Even if we select material topics, we may also how to say it, like customize it, and we may decide how much we will report or how much we will keep it for the next reports. So that we can also determine. Okay, interesting. So this is a small activity. So let's look into the activity for like 1 minute or so, and then we'll start discussing. So one topic is given. So the topic is fuel-based energy. So it usually has negative impact, and resource depletion is the thing. So it is that for this, we can do a simple materiality assessment, and we can determine how important is this for a company. So let me bring in like a few examples for like paper sector. I'd like to bring in that example first. So for paper, one topic is like pulp, and pulp is coming from virgin wood or trees, or it could be recycled. So we talk kind of many times, or we discuss many times that paper kind of using paper, it's not like sustainable, and it has impact that it take trees to produce. However, think in that way that polybags, polythenes, that has even detrimental effect on the environment. That's petrochemical, and it takes like 600 years or 500 years to decompose or mix with the nature. So in terms that paper is kind of using resources, but if it is responsibly sourced, like FSC, so Forest Stewardship Council certified paper, And we know in many countries, including in Bangladesh, FSC papers are available. So these are the thing why FSC comes in and why the companies are using. So this is one thing. And then also paper industries, they use a lot of water intensive industry, and then energy, of course, energy, and then of course fuel. The example here, even if national grid electricity is available, but we know that sometimes electricity cuts are also there. So fuel-based energy is also needed. So interestingly, we've discussed and found few topics already, significant topics. We can also put those into test to see how significant are those. We can put numbers like stakeholders influence, how much is influencing the severity and likelihood. So we can do that. And then for other industries, like our most common industries, like ready-made garment factories. So for a vertically integrated unit, which has like knitting or weaving and then dyeing, printing, finishing, like very massive operations, they have of course water as their first or top material topic, and then energy, and then of course materials. Materials mean the product they are producing, material for those, and also fuel. Fuel consumption, it's also their material topic. In terms of social area, it could be like, as we have seen, like diversity, inclusion, and then it could be income distribution, income generation. These are like interesting topics. We can, and also health and safety, occupational health and safety or workplace safety. So these are the important topics can be assessed and prioritized for reporting. Okay, so moving on. So topical content of sustainability report. Very interesting slide, very important slide, I should say. So this is kind of structure of a sustainability report. You can see how it may look like. We have seen similar slide before in the first session, but not in this much detail. So think in that way that, okay, what is a sustainability report? What does it have? Okay. So it contains an organization's profile, objectives and tasks, governance structure. Some companies directly put their organization structure even, and then members and the memberships and stakeholder engagement. So this is like organization's profile. While we talk about a company and organization, so at the beginning, these will be available. There could be a little more even. Then sustainability strategy. So the first thing is that letter from the president and the director or managing director or top boss of the company. In that letter, there will be a commitment from the top boss that yes, this is me and this is our company and these are our commitment we would like to achieve. So it's like a total endorsement and total commitment about the company that need to be at the beginning. And then sustainability goals and strategy, compliance, capacity building, everything included. So we have seen this BGMEA 2030 sustainability vision. So many companies, they also have their sustainability goals and strategy around those goals. Only setting goals is not enough. There should be strategy and there should be roadmap and there should be KPI, and we will look into it, how to set goals, smart goals. So sustainability roadmap and responsible staff, very importantly. Setting goals and having roadmap through an external person is not enough. There should be responsible person within a business, within a company, to look after these actually goals and also the achievement of the goals. And again, the KPI, how it's going. Then if we move into the next segment, which is again, identification and reporting on the most important issues. So individual selection. So again, while we do materiality assessment, we will identify most important material topic or important topics. And then under that, there will be segments like economic issue, social issue, and environmental issue. So for economic, ethics and integrity, values, principle, anti-corruption, these will be reported. Then development of sector, and then measures, international fairs, and also contributions and the quality management. So under economic, these management things, and also initiatives, marketing, market coverage, future goals around those can be mentioned and discussed. And definitely these will be further structured and discussed down the line, aligning with the GRI standard. So social issue, again, occupational health and safety is the top priority topic. Many of the companies, they keep it like that. Then employment, then worker rights, then daycare center, equal opportunities, women empowerment. These are the common topics we find in sustainability reports. Because progressive companies, they always look into this similar topic when they want to report. And then environmental issues like international standardization. Of course, we are now seeing like HIC and then ZDC. These are like international standards in terms of environmental requirements. And then, of course, energy, water, waste, then material efficiency, chemical management. So these are the very basic and common topics. So for content of a sustainability report, it is not out of the total our how to say knowledge or the creep, or it's not kind of rocket science, but the point is how to tell a compelling story supported by data and information customized to the context of a company. And last day we have seen from one of the groups we've received a question that is there any format or like a dummy report, sustainability report? Sorry to say, it is not like that. There cannot be a dummy report for a sustainability report. Each and every company is unique in terms of its context. So it is not like a BACI report or a SMETA SEDEX report, ICS report, or any other audit platform report, where a legal requirement or a requirement of a code of conduct section or a subsection can be quoted and reported the violation. It is not about reporting violation. Rather, it is a more descriptive. It is storytelling within the context of company and the industry, and of course, positive and negative, both will be reported. So there is no standard format or how to say it, report format for sustainability report. And probably I have mentioned in any of the group in the first session. So there are some companies in the world, technology companies, they say that they can produce sustainability report based on the data the company provides and the input the company provides on their data platform or on their server. Definitely they take a lot of money, but we have tried those are not good enough. Rather, if we just look into the deep and if we feel that yes, whatever our story is, we'll start and we will write, we can do a better report than any platform even. There is no standard format for sure, and then no data platform can write it. However, so we can take help from artificial intelligence for writing a segment, providing a dummy data, not providing any name, because in last session there was in one session it was that that providing actual data, it's not needed. You can provide some dummy data and you can take subsector of a report. Well, moving on, we will see some examples.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Okay, though I have said that we'll take question at the end. Okay, go ahead.
স্যার আমরা জেন্ডার ইস্যুটাকে কি সোশ্যাল ইস্যুর মধ্যে ইনক্লুড করবো নাকি স্যার এর জন্য আলাদা একটা ইস্যু ক্রিয়েট করবো?
Your line is breaking up. Can you just say it again? Hello?
হ্যালো,
So your line was breaking up. So your voice was
আমি
breaking up.
আপ করছিলাম যে আমরা কি জেন্ডার ইস্যুটাকে কি সোশ্যাল ইস্যুর মধ্যে রেখে দিব না আলাদা একটা সেগমেন্ট ক্রিয়েট করে জেন্ডার ইস্যুটাকে শো করব?
এটা সোশ্যালেরই একটা পার্ট, সোশ্যালের মধ্যে রাখলেই বেটার। এটা আলাদা ভাবে আসলে বলার আপনি যদি বলতে চান এটা সোশ্যালের মধ্যে বলাটাই বেটার।
ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
ঠিক আছে, তারপরে এটাকে কোথায় আপনার প্লেস করলে উইদিন দ্য সোশ্যাল চ্যাপ্টার আপনার ফার্দার অবজেক্টিভ ফুলফিল হবে, সো সেটাকে আপনি ফাইন টিউন করে আরো ফার্দার এনহ্যান্স করতে পারবেন উইদিন দ্য সোশ্যাল চ্যাপ্টার।
ওকে, থ্যাংক
Okay,
ইউ।
so moving on. So this is an example of impact materiality, which is, we call it single materiality. So impact materiality, you see, this is Aldi. This is one of the biggest super shop chain from Germany. So they sell food and non-food products. So broadly, that's how it is defined. Food is food. Everything they sell, fresh fruits till vegetables and canned foods and everything. And when it is non-food, they sell like apparel, clothing, and like home textiles and kind of some furniture, some kitchenwares. So it's like a superstore. It's a super shop chain. So it's available all over Europe, even though it's a German company. So how their impact materiality they have actually done, and they have actually put their material topics. So they have selected many topics, a massive company, to be very frank. So on top of their list is that human rights and working conditions in the supply chain. So this is one of their very top priority area they would like to address. And for Aldi, the supply chain is very spread out. Definitely from Bangladesh, many factories, they provide apparel products to this brand. So for a company registered in Germany, and they are definitely bigger than 3,000 workforce. So the due diligence law already is applicable for them. So they are taking it very serious, and they have put this human rights area on top. And then they have put like reduction of greenhouse gas emission in the company, within the company. So that's like scope 1 and 2. Then they have put another area, reducing food waste. So in their country, people waste a lot of food that they have taken, because that is how to say it, very much debated thing. And then there are a lot of hungry people around the world, and they are wasting so much food. So it's like a very top topic they have identified, because they sell food. So these are the top few topics I have discussed. And then they also look into use of more sustainable packaging. Very interesting. So in Germany or in Europe, poly bags are not available for free. So in some countries it is banned. However, with price, reusable bags can be bought. And so interestingly, the packaging is polybag itself. So it's kind of an irony. It's kind of double standard sometimes. When you go in any shop, we see that everything is packed in polybags, and then they are not giving us a bigger polybag to take those. So very interesting. So they are trying to address that. So for packaging, they would like to use alternative options, sustainable alternative options. So what is the lowest or the low area they would like to address? So offering products for special nutritional needs. So definitely there are niche customers and niche market for that special nutritional need people. They have identified it also as their material topic. And this is definitely one of their marketing tool that yes, they can sell product for especially customized nutritional products. So in developed world, this awareness is very high. Their treatment facility is very modern. So if Aldi can cater, then that will drag a lot of customers to their shop. So this is their material topic. It is impact materiality, we call it, or single materiality. So let's have a look. We have seen it in our first lecture. So team group, and it's very easy to comprehend that it's high, medium, and low. So the kind of a rainbow, it's easily, top right corner is the high. So there are a few topics we have seen also. So it's energy is the most important topic for them. And then effluent and waste, and then economic performance of the company, then GHG emission, water and effluents, and occupational health and safety. These are the top priority topics or material topics for them. And the medium is like tax, stakeholder engagement, and then training and education, diversity, equality, and inclusion. So then employment, materials, and market presence. So market presence, while they say that, they mean that market penetration, in which countries they are basically present now, and in which countries they aim to reach. So then low impact area is indirect economic impact. So indirect economic impact, we will look into it. So this is like high, medium, low material topic, and it is done through single materiality or impact materiality. Interesting. We'll now see double materiality. So double materiality is very new term, and it is actually brought into the ESRS or European Sustainability Reporting Standard, and it's by IFRS or EFRAG. So in GRI, it is also discussed and available. So let's look into it. To provide the full picture, a company should report both how it impacts the world it operates in using GRI standard, and then how the sustainability topic affects the organization using IFRS or ESRS sustainability disclosure standards. And then on the second bullet, it says taken together and in the context of CSRD, this is referred to as a double materiality. So we can see this like a very broadly, it's like impact materiality is one-sided or inside-out approach. But for double materiality, it is outside-in approach. So in a single word, it is like both end. And we can say it's a karma. Karma will come here. So we know that what goes around comes around. So if we do something bad, that will come back to us. So for example, someone is polluting the water or using or extracting so much water, the water layer is going down very fast. So right now, the community is getting affected because as a manufacturing unit, they have the ability to dig deep and extract more water. But right now, the community is affected and they are ignoring the community. But after 10, 20 years, the water will be so scarce, the company will have no, actually, how to say it, like ability or viability to get water to run or operate their business. But if they were actually consulting with the stakeholders of the community and were trying to find out alternative options for water or treating the water they're extracting, the company would have been sustainable in the very long term. And also the community would have been very, kind of sustainable community. So it is like inside out and outside in approach. So both side approach. So it's like impact on environment and society, and also sustainable risks and opportunities for the organization. So it's like full cycle. So basically, this kind of a new concept, and we will see a couple of examples for that as well. So this is a kind of a store brand. So they actually lend money sustainable funding company or organization. So they have actually identified some topics in high area we can see. So the number one is like green, number one is like climate change, and then yellow number one is or like yellow or brown. Yes, own workforce, and the black number one is business conduct. Business conduct is business ethics, anti-bribery. These are the thing. Anti-competitive policy. These are the thing. And then there is a red one, that is sustainable finance. So then brown for consumer and end users. So they see this consumer and end user as very powerful force, as very powerful entity. So that's why they have actually kept it in the high. Moderate, there are a number of topics. In the low, they don't keep, they didn't keep anything. So it's like double materiality. Definitely, we have seen that we have to do it in two ways. So the view of the company, the view of the stakeholder, and as well as the way the company thinks, and also how the work of the company will come back and affect back the company again down the line. Okay, so this is another example, Bosundhara Paper Mills, double materiality. We have seen this also in the first lecture very briefly, but now we can discuss, or we can like look into it very detailed. So it is plotted in a different way rather than X and Y axis. So it's plotted in a way that on the left, there are high or critical materiality topic, and the right, the green is like low materiality topic. They have like 6 critical materiality topics like energy, emission, water, effluent, and occupational health and safety. I mentioned few already in our discussion. And then in high materiality, they have kept economic performance and workforce. And like moderate, they have kept like the procurement practice, and this is very important. And then rights to humanity, inclusive and fairness initiatives, and then training and education, and engaging stakeholders. These are their moderate materiality topics. And then low materiality is indirect economic impact, socio-economic compliance, and then employee relations, safeguarding the community, marketing, labeling, and engaging stakeholders. Marketing and labeling. So, you know, that Bosundhara is the biggest paper and tissue manufacturing company of our country. And as per their own data, they actually provide 80% of our market for tissues and one-time paper towels and these things. They are the biggest player. And to be very frank, in the last few years, we have seen some more companies are coming in, like Fresh, even Partex very recently, and there are some other smaller companies like Bangla. So this is a very big market segment, and Bosundhara is targeting to get international finance. So they are also registered in Dhaka Stock Exchange. So they are very serious about their transparency. So this is their materiality matrix, and it's a double materiality matrix. So this is a company from India, Page Industries. So they are ready-made garment producers. So we can see that how they have connected with United Nations SDGs also, while they have actually prioritized their material topic. So occupational health and safety. So why they have and how they have set it as a high priority, that's ensuring good health and safety of the workers. And they have connected it with SDG goal 3, good health and well-being. So chemical management, they have actually said managing hazardous and non-hazardous chemicals generated properly and ensure no harm is caused to anyone. So they have connected with goal 3 and 12. And then energy, reducing the energy consumption from fossil fuels by integrating renewables. And that they have connected with goal 7, which is affordable and clean energy, and goal 12, responsible consumption and production, and then greenhouse gas emissions. So these energy and greenhouse gas emissions, these are like connected and very closely they have kept, you can see, increasing the share of clean energy, sorry, source and use energy efficient technologies to reduce GHG emissions. So I had opportunity to work with a German retailer back in 2012 and 13. So in those days, they introduced a carbon performance indicator project to their supply chain in Bangladesh. So all factories, they have done a project where initiatives were introduced and encouraged to replace older lighting bulbs with the more energy efficient bulbs. In those times, no LED was available. So even CFL was not available. So it's like T8 till T5. So that was kind of the initiative, and then replacing our clutch motors to servo motors, and then identifying the leaks in the air pipeline. So these were the initiatives they were introducing to reduce the greenhouse gas emission to save more energy. So yes, now we'll have a look into a typical reporting process procedure, how actually it work. So again, understanding the sustainability vision of the organization. As I have mentioned, a letter or a statement from the top boss will actually say about the vision of the organization, where the organization would like to be and reach. So then conducting a visit to the factory to understand the sustainability story and conducting the materiality is the next step. Usually that's how we do. And then measuring and preparing the baseline if needed. Because some companies, they may have mature data and baseline already decided, because we have already heard that how to set a baseline and how to even keep the data manually off through different platforms. So if it is done, fine. But if not, then measuring the and preparing the baseline. Very important step. That's why it is within the red bracket. And the next step is preparing ESG goals and targets. Usually, now it is kept up to 2030, because Sustainable Development Goal is still year 2030. So that's how many companies, they are keeping their goals till 2030. So again, approval from the top management on the goals and targets. To be very frank, without the approval, we should not actually consider of actually taking up any goal. So yeah. Again, we move into next step, which is training on understanding and carrying out ESG initiatives. So without capacity building and training, this cannot be actually done. Within a company, this will be a new thing. There are very few companies, they have an ESG team, or how to say it, a structured reporting team. So within an organization, job description need to be discussed again, even if it is not formally, informally, that this is a new thing, a sustainability report we are going to publish. This is the intention of the management, and we need this many people from all the departments to contribute in the report. So that need to be identified, and those people need to be capacitated or trained to contribute in the initiative of sustainability reporting. Okay, so then preparing the storyline for the factory. Again, every factory is unique, or every company is unique. So the storyline preparation need to be done separately and chapter by chapter. It cannot be copied and pasted from company XYZ and to company ABC. So drafting full sustainability report with design. And design is a thing, probably I have also discussed that the presentation is very important. Even if a report has very interesting data, but if the data is not presented in proper way, then that's not kind of, how to say it, good to the audience. The audience may lose interest to go through the full report. So it is always suggested to use professional designers for a report. Then we can move into, again, approval from the top management, because before final publication of the report and sending it to the public domain, the top management need to be actually consulted, and their approval need to be sought before it is sending it for printing or for online publication through the website. So yeah, that's kind of the steps we usually follow, and these are the usual steps. So I had the opportunity to work from GIZ with association, 4 associations in Bangladesh. So 2 from Ready-Made Garment Industry Association like BGME and BKME, and 2 from leather sector. So Tanners Union, and as well as the other association is LFMEAB. So Leather Goods and Footwear Manufacturers Exporters Association, big name. So I had the opportunity to work with the 4 associations and also 6 companies, so to publish their own report. That was back in 2019, 2020. And to be very frank, that was kind of the first initiative in Bangladesh, in history of Bangladesh ever, to publish a bulk number of report with the support from external expert from Germany. So I had the opportunity to coordinate and manage the project. So it is indeed not easy. And as we have seen in our first lecture, that 6 months to 8 months, sometimes it can be squeezed for the second version of the report or second year of the report, but usually it takes like around 6 to 8 months to publish one report. So these are the steps, broad steps, and we need to be very focused. And again, for many companies, the publication of the sustainability report becomes like additional effort for them. So getting support from within the company, it's not always easy. So why I'm saying that? Because every department in a company, we see that these are like silos. They don't talk to each other. They don't kind of collaborate every day for their work. So they are the independent production department, quality department, admin accounts department, HR department. These are like all independent department within the company. They don't like collaborate much for like their own activities. They have their own data management. They have their own work, and then they do manage that. But now this is
Excuse me, what is ESG? Please explain ESG.
environment, social, and governance.
Environment, social, and governance. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think okay, so it's like very late because we have discussed ESG quite a number of times in this session and first session. Thank you very much anyways. So yeah, these are the steps, and we'll now dig deep into few of the steps. So setting a baseline, very important. So how to do that? So we will find a business as usual year. So we will avoid not to choose unusual year or year with unusual circumstances like COVID-19 affected year. We will not choose such years for our baseline setting. And then data availability. So even an as usual year may be that we may not have data. Like if we would like to set a year before COVID, so would that be good sitting at 2024? So maybe not, because 5 years old data we may not have in that clarity. So we have to select a year which is normal, and for that year we should have this data available. And then consistency and transparency. So constant baseline and disclosure in the reports. So it is that we cannot change the baseline. So it is very exceptionally can be done if needed. But once a baseline is set, that baseline need to be kept. So that transparency we need to keep. So rarely, as I have mentioned, a baseline can be reset if any major operational change takes place, like expansion of another unit, or like expansion in another country, or like change in whole production process, or adding up a new manufacturing process as a whole. So that may have effect on the baseline. So for that, we can change the baseline with proper kind of explanation. So someone has raised his hand. Please ask quickly, otherwise we can take the question at the end.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, sir. This is Handan. So, sir, I would ask you one question, that is ESG reporting and the sustainability reporting is same, or any other difference between these two terms? Can you explain me?
It is basically, in a way, how to say it very quickly and easily. These are kind of similar thing, but not same. Because ESG reporting a company can do and may not follow any standard. So a ESG disclosure, ESG reporting, fine. But when a company says it's a sustainability reporting, that will have some connection with standard or framework. So we have discussed about standards and framework in our first lecture. So when we say sustainability reporting, these are like more encompassing and broad. And when we say like ESG reporting, it could be very customized and small, and it may not be done following any standard or framework. It could be simple disclosure of a company. So I hope it's clear. But both are like similar. So ESG reporting could be a first step for a company towards publishing sustainability reporting. But sustainability reporting is usually broad, detailed, and either it follows a framework or it follows a standard. Okay, going back to the topic again. So ESG goal setting. We all know about the SMART thing, that specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This is very much used terminology in our, how to say it, corporate arena. So we hear this term every now and then, but this is a very powerful term. So when we set a goal, we have to set the goal in a smart way. So below there is an example of a goal we have actually written, that our goal is a company. When it says that our goal is to reduce our scope 1 and 2 greenhouse gas emission by 20% by the end of 2030. So if we look that all 5 elements are available or not, so it says that specific, okay, scope 1 and 2. They clearly say that they will do it for scope 1 and 2. And what they will do, they will reduce greenhouse gas. How much? 20%, which is measurable. So achievable, whether it is achievable or not, that the company definitely have done some homework, and they have actually found out, yes, they can achieve 20% by 2030, which is time bound. And also it is relevant to the operation of a company. So all 5 elements of a SMART goal are available here. And while we will set goal, we definitely need to look into this kind of SMART principles, and we can set our goals as well. Let's have a, there's a pointer, and then moving on. Okay. Once a goal is set, we also need to set KPI, and we need to measure the progress. So it's based on that goal that reduce its scope 1 and 2 greenhouse gas emission by 20% by the end of 2030. It was the goal. So how they have set their KPI. So this is just an example. Percentage of change in scope 1 emission, percentage of change in scope 2 emission, then percentage of change in carbon footprint and renewable energy uses. Then things to do, what they will do, they have said, measure changes in different emission sources, carbon intensity and fuel efficiency. And then they have set kind of responsible person who will look after what. So it could be 2%, it could be more than 2, it could be even 1. If it is a very organized organization and they have like online software to manage these things, it can be done in that way. So a company has set a goal, set KPI, and they have said what they will do, and they have assigned responsible personnel who will look after that. So that's kind of one example. It can be done even better. So it's just this kind of a very common and basic example. And then how to track the progress. Once goal is set, KPI is also set, how to track the progress. So this is a kind of very systematic example. So then collect data, gather information on environmental, social, and governance metrics, and monitor performance, track progress towards ESG goal over time. Definitely, we have to keep on tracking the data and keeping the data. There are some data, it could be taken daily. There are some data we can take weekly. These are based on the requirement of legal requirement. It could be requirement from buyer. It could be requirement set by the company itself. So we need to monitor the performance. And most importantly, benchmarking. Benchmarking against the company or industry standard. So even a company is fulfilling a requirement of the industry or of a country, a company can even do better. So if they would like to follow industry benchmark, they can compare themselves and they can even move forward. Because we many times we see there are some pioneer companies always. They are ahead than others, and they fulfill the basic requirement, which is regulatory requirement, and then they move forward and they brand those initiatives in such way, and we are, as a consumer, we buy their products even a premium price. So that's how companies can do brand their sustainability initiative as well. So this is exactly one example. So we have seen like 3-4 steps before how actually a company can do that. So energy performance, that's their portfolio. Ericsson, we know it was producing mobile handset, but they moved out of that segment. Now they produce mobile communication hardware, like network towers or like accessories, all those things. They're still very active and one of the biggest companies in that segment. So they say reduce the energy consumption of typical new radio base station sites by 40% between 2021 and 2025. That was their goal. So how they have done it? So they have set the percentage like 10, 20, 30, 40%. And then 2022, they have achieved like less than 10%. And then in 2023, they have achieved already 30%. Probably in this year, they will be already achieving 40%. Because frankly speaking, this is their money. If they can bring their energy performance to 40%, that will save a lot of money. The company will make a lot of profit. Sustainability pays back. Sustainability is beautiful because company can save money, company can give more dividend to the shareholders. Example, this one. Even if they have promised they will do it 2025, they are already achieving 30% by 2023. And then they are en route to achieve it even before, well before 2025. So this is one example we have seen. So this is another company, a textile mill from Pakistan. So they have done a more detailed kind of communication about their goals, and they have set the area also, the planet, people, and prosperity means profit. That's how they wanted to say. So water footprint management, achieve zero liquid discharge by 2027. In last class, one of the group actually asked about ZLD. So zero liquid discharge is very expensive thing, but at the end, who is paying? That's very important. If the consumers are ready to pay, the manufacturers, like from our part of the world, from Bangladesh, we can implement that. But if the consumers or buyers are not ready to pay, it is not easy to implement that. If price pressure is always there, a company cannot implement ZLD. But definitely, we are paying high price for our environment, for this industrialization of our country, because every country goes through transition, different process, and manufacturing is the process how economic development comes first. So a company said by 2027, and climate change mitigation and adaptation, they said they will become net zero by 2050. Many companies said that. Then renewable energy, add 12 megawatt solar-based renewable energy by 2027. So these are actually investment which pays back quickly. Then material efficiency, they have their commitment. Then maximizing energy efficiency, sustainable material and process. So these are like planet area, people area, inclusion and diversity within our workforce. Increase ratio of female employees to 15% by 2026. I don't know if any of you visited Pakistan or not. I have had the opportunity to visit Pakistan because I work for 3 brands. So for one of those brands, I went to Pakistan, and I had the opportunity to visit factories in Lahore and Faisalabad and Karachi. So these are like industrial cities or towns. So frankly speaking, I haven't seen like many female workers within the floor. There are very few in the packing section only. But I've seen many female, they're working as kind of very, how to say it, non-productive jobs like cleaning or like sweeping the floor. So they were like very behind. Still, the ratio was very low. So desperate ladies only come out of the family because they have kind of more, how to say, conservative society. So it is also a requirement that gender inclusion and diversity is coming, because brands are also pushing it there. So providing vocational training and employment, definitely training by a company is the best, because training center within a factory serves the best. So they targeted that 2026, by 2026 they will train 1,500 people plus people. And then promoting greener community, 1 million trees. Pakistan is more arid, so definitely by 2030 they would like to do online training and development portal. So this is fantastic. They try to do that for their own staff. And prosperity, so sustained economic value creation and uplifting economic conditions of farmers. So Pakistan has a lot of kind of cotton growers, so they would like to work with them as well. So this is kind of a company's kind of goal they have set. So next is Nokia, and we'll see one exceptional example here. Nokia is a very big company, and we once upon a time in our life we have used Nokia at least once, Nokia mobile device. So here there is example that in environment area, Nokia actually failed to even failed to remain on track for one of their goals. And that's the first one. That emission covered by our SBT were 34 that's the result. But SBTI, it's kind of very scientific thing, and that need to get approved from that authority. So they have committed that reduce our greenhouse gas emission across our value chain 1, 2, and 3. 3 is very tough, by 50% between 2019 and 2030, and reach net zero by 2050. So 50% by 2030 and achieve net zero by 2050. They clearly said they have some challenges, which is described here, that despite this decrease, our current SBT emission are now at same level as 2019 baseline year. Oh my God. This means that 2030 SBT is still not on track within a linear reduction trajectory. So see, they remain at the same level at 2019 in the year 2023, which is 4 years after. So they are not even on track. But for other initiatives, they are tracking it, and they are on track for all 4 mentioned here, like emission, and then they have their other sub-segment and segment in terms of GHG emission and reduction. So company should be transparent. It is not always that we say only the positive things, and it is not even believed by the consumers, by the stakeholders, that all a company is always positive, everything is good. Definitely, all company has positive and negative impact. Definitely, we have to take care, and we have to go through the approval process of management, and we will definitely share positive and negative both impact. So again, if we look into foundations and non-profit organizations, we have done a very good job or a very big project work for a non-profit company. So for them, we have done a very detailed research. Who is doing what in terms of setting their goal, ESG goal, as non-profit companies. So this is a social area, because we always, or most of the time, we see sustainability means environment. It's not. So for social segment, how these companies, or sorry, these organizations, they are not companies, non-profit organizations, they say that they will do what? So for employment, hand in hand, it's an Indian NGO. So they say that create 10 million job opportunity by 2025. So they do some implementation job. So they say that this is their target. And then American Red Cross, what they have said workplace health and safety, that's their priority area. And what they will achieve, establish a safe working environment and prevent injuries by embedding health and safety practices into all mission-related activities for employees and volunteers at the Red Cross. So this is very broad commitment, and definitely they have said it very loud and clear. So how they are going to do that? So ensure comfortable workplace and quality during hot seasons, then being by exploring cost available, cool lighting improvement, HVAC improvement services, and sustainable cooling situations, smart building technologies and upgrades, and motion sensor guided lighting and thermostat. So these are all investment intensive initiatives, but still as a kind of implementing organization, they receive donation from many big corporations. So now donors are even asking about the expenditure of the fund, how it is done by their implementing organization. So the next one is World Vision, safeguarding and well-being of children. So safeguarding the rights and well-being of children, which is a critical social goal, particularly in vulnerable communities. So World Vision has made their commitment like this. Then diversity and equal opportunity, again, American Red Cross. They said ensuring equitable and culturally appropriate mission delivery by cultivating a diverse workforce and fostering inclusive partnership at the Red Cross. So it is definitely, we are a small country, Bangladesh, but we have diversity within our country. We have like hill tracts, we have Garo community in Tangai, also in Norsindi. We have other smaller communities in further north part like Shautal. So we don't see them in our mainstream job, in our mainstream world. Very rarely we see them. But Red Cross, they have said that they will make sure that those are respected. So then in environment, the other organizations we can see. So Oxfam, they have said 29% reduction in waste per £1,000,000 of turnover from donated goods. Oh my God. So Oxfam make donations. So they would like to even reduce 29% of waste from their donated products. So then American Red Cross reducing waste, 5% reduction of waste per employee, both in head office and in office, in field office. Maricorps, plastic paper use, they will reduce by 60% by 2030. So reducing waste is an area for non-profit organization, and then reducing plastic use, increasing recycle. So it's like we had the opportunity to work with the biggest NGO like BRAC also, what they are doing. So these are interesting thing. It is not only for-profit company, non-profit companies are also working. Some of these organizations are reporting, some are not yet, but we hope that with the pressure from the donor community, they will start their ESG reporting soon. For especially for these type of organizations, thank you for your question, the difference between ESG report and sustainability report. For these type of organizations, which are non-profit organizations, they many times issue only the ESG disclosure or ESG report. They many times don't issue a sustainability report. So you can go to their website and check their ESG thing. So again, we have seen like some examples in terms of goals, targets, and how to achieve. So as we have started like exactly 20 minutes late because of the technical difficulties at the IM end of this, because the server issue was there. So we'll not take a break. We'll continue and we'll finish at 9:40. So to cover up the time. So structure of a standard. So let's see, GRI is a standard. So how it is structured. So universal standard, sector standard, and topic standard. So sector standard, I have already mentioned that for textile and garment, there is no standard for that sector. We are hoping next year it will come. There are some standard for agriculture, mining, oil and gas. You can look into those if your work area is connected to that. Otherwise, universal standard and topic standards are the standards we'll be looking into. So topics we have discussed, which could be the topic. So economic performance can be one topic, energy, employment generation. These are like examples with the series number of GRI standard. So 3 picked from 3 different segments, and then the disclosures, how it actually works. So disclosure 201, economic value generated and distributed, and then 302-3, energy intensity, and then disclosure 4013. So I'll share the standard, the shortcut version, as well as the consolidated GRI standard. So you can go into those standards and look into the standard and disclosure and the requirement for those disclosures. So this kind of typical structure you can see. So economic performance. So this is 201 of GRI standard. So what are the disclosure? Disclosure means we have to say, a company need to say this information, or the report need to have this information as minimum to comply to GRI standard. So it's like direct economic value generated and distributed, 201-1, 201-2, financial implications and other risks and opportunities due to climate change. Then 2013, defined benefit, planned obligations and other requirement plans. And then 4, financial assistance received from government, if any. If not received, a company can straightforward say that we don't receive any financial assistance or support from the government. But if a company is reporting for 2020 COVID year, a government company or a company in Bangladesh, they have received some financial assistance. So they can mention that. So if we look into more zoom way in this disclosure, so requirements, these are written usually in the bold text. So it says that direct economic value generated. What does this mean? It means a revenue. Company's total revenue turnover will be there. Then economic value distributed. It means how the cost distribution was there. So operating cost, employee wages and benefits, payment to providers of capital means interest to the bank loan, and then payment to the government by country, and then community investment. So these are like different headings. A company need to disclose these data. Economic value retained, direct economic value generated, less economic value distributed. So it's like profit. So these are the minimum information a company need to provide. But interestingly, top management may not be interested to disclose this information. But a company listed in stock exchange always provide this information. Interesting. Because Bosundhara Paper Mill, they have their annual report. An annual report has all this data. Any company listed in Dhaka Stock Exchange, they need to disclose this information every year. After their financial year is closed and the audit is done. So for a company, even if it is not listed in a stock exchange, every year an audit is a regulatory requirement. They need to do a financial audit through a chartered accountancy firm, and they need to submit this report to income tax office, I mean the company tax file submission, and then the registrar of joint stock of companies, at least minimum these two, and other few offices if it is connected with export and import. So this financial audit, once it is done, a company share this information to many Bangladesh authorities within our country. So this information anyway is going to the offices, and yeah, maybe not to the general people, but if a company is confident and want to share this information, they should share after audited data, and they can share that confidently. So then if we look into other, so there's like for energy, how it is that 302-1, energy consumption within the organization, energy consumption outside the organization, energy intensity, reduction of energy consumption, reduction in energy requirement of product and services. So this information a company should report for this energy. And for every company, we see energy is a material topic, like energy audit, emission. These are like common material topic for all types of companies. It could be service sector, it could be manufacturing sector, it could be non-profit organization, it could be cooperative and any type of organization. energy, water, emission. These are like common material topic. For energy, these are the data a company need to disclose. So one just like look into this. So energy intensity ratio of the organization that need to be disclosed, and an organization specific metric chosen to calculate the ratio. So which metric was used, that need to be disclosed in the report, because there are different type of metrics available in the arena of reporting. Type of energy included in the intensity ratio, like whether it is fuel, electricity, heating, cooling, steam, or all this. So whether ratio used energy consumption within the organization, outside of it, or both. So these are the things that GRI is telling, that whatever you do following this thing, this declaration, and also it provides sort of a guideline. It is not only a requirement. To fulfill the requirement, it also works as a kind of a guideline how to do that. So these are the disclosure type. So because we are looking into deep into report writing, so we are familiarizing you today with the standard and the standards requirements. So then training and education, interesting social segment. Many times we see that we provide training, but we do not track. Training is expensive for a company. Why I'm saying this? Because when we provide a training, the staff or the workers, they need to be removed from their workstation, and they need to they need to be taken to a place where they are provided the training, maybe for 1 hour, maybe for a couple of hours, maybe in a year, 6 hours or 5 hours or 4 hours training even. So what if the factory's total employee size is 10,000? How many work hours is that? How much is the cost to the company? It is very expensive to the company. So we definitely need to record these training hours, and then we should report this. So average hours training per year per employee, and then program or upgrading employees skills transition assistance program, anything specific. If a company has percentage of employees receive regular performance and career development reviews, it could be in that angle as well. Also, it could be topic specific, some other trainings like health and safety training, fire safety training, or it could be hygiene training, it could be maternal health related training, it could be sexually transmittable disease, STD training. So these are all training many companies are doing. Sometimes they themselves they do, or sometimes outside NGOs, sometimes other brand initiatives, they actually do. But many times we don't track this record, so we can track this and we can report this very easily. So here it is. It says who received the training, gender, male, female, and always employee category. So we can, if we can track, we can report those. These are like very, how to say, good examples or good initiatives by a company. Please mute yourself if you are not asking any question or talking. Please mute yourself. Okay, so now we have a slide in front of us, which is data collection for reporting. So who will provide the data? As I've discussed, so data are available. So in these departments like admin, finance, HR, compliance, system. So these are like, if you do not talk, please mute yourself.
got. Okay.
Please mute yourself if you do not talk. Okay, so these are the departments from where we get the data. So usually how then data cycle works. So it starts with a materiality assessment and identifying the material topics where the data are needed, and then accumulating data. The data can be accumulated from different platforms like SLCP, Betterwork, Star Network, and or Star Portal, HIG platforms, ADSC, HR department, and then find and match the data requirements with GRI standards. Definitely, all data is not important for GRI reporting or sustainability reporting. And also, data quality is a big issue. So we have to be very careful about the data and the data quality. We should not provide any data which is fabricated that will come back to us and it will backfire. So an entrepreneur cannot maintain data. It is the manager, the staff, the executive, the officers, they actually do this as their daily kind of activities. So this data collection, data match against the standards need to be done very carefully. And then go for disclosure by data available in the first year. Why we are saying this? Because as I have mentioned, for the first year, for the first report, all data may not be available. And then even if data is available, the data may not be organized or systematically available. The quality of data may not be good. And also, the management may not feel confident that we should disclose everything in the first year. And we also suggest don't do everything in the first year. Start doing it, because every time we say example, we cannot run instantly. A baby cannot run instantly. We start to stand up, and then we crawl, we stand up, and then we walk, and then we run. So it's like similar that for a company, we are telling big story to the outside world about our own company, which we have never done before. So let's do it slow and steady and with confidence, not like very hastily and very much unprepared way. We have to do it very organized and prepared way and with all confidence and double checking. Double checking is the thing we should do before we disclose any data. So the rest three circles are like we would like to keep for our next sessions, because those are like about writing storylines and presenting data and gradually progressing. Those will come in the next 2 sessions we have with you. So then moving on. This slide is very interesting. It is data template and how we kind of guide professionals to take data. So we have some formats or templates, we call it. So templates for gathering and keeping data. However, before going to that, again, for which area we keep data, only the material topic or important topic. So we do materiality assessment and we find out those. And then benchmarking and peer comparisons, we can see that our competitor companies, what they are doing, and we can look into that, and also we can adjust and readjust our areas as well. Emerging trends and issues, of course. There are new reporting trends and requirements, and we need to look into those, and we need to upgrade as well. Stakeholder expectation, definitely stakeholder expectation is very important. That guides and drives many things. Consumers are demanding more and more transparency, so companies are becoming more and more transparent in the business practices. And then integral goals and targets we will do. And then regulatory requirements, very important. Regulatory requirements are non-negotiable. We have to be very careful. No reporting can be done only on regulatory requirements because regulatory fulfillment of regulatory requirements is the minimum. So there is nothing to actually report much on only fulfilling by regulatory requirements. In many cases, we will see fulfilling the regulatory requirements is the minimum. So if a company cannot fulfill the regulatory requirements or the minimum requirements, I mean, they definitely are in challenging situation even to run their business. So how come they report on their ESG performance? They'll not be in any way ready to disclose their data. So if they fail to fulfill the water release requirement from their effluent treatment plant, how they are going to report it. So they have to definitely comply and do better than to report. And we'll definitely look into industry standards and frameworks. So this whole sustainability reporting, sustainability and ESG initiative, these are all kind of discussion which goes beyond minimum requirement, beyond regulatory requirement or legislative requirements. If someone says, I only fulfill the legal requirements, I think that's not enough for like a very good report. A company has to do more in every area. So ESG, every area, a company needs to do more, then the report becomes more rich. So taking up all these things, we develop this data template and we have standardized data template. We usually share with a company who actually come to us to actually take service for sustainability reporting. We share those data template and we train them on those data template. And then they start working with this data template. So now it's very important you see that how actually it works, this data thing. So data collection. So from where we will collect the data? From our internal operations. Very simple, straightforward. This includes assessing the environmental impacts of the manufacturing process, workplace safety, employee welfare, governance practices, etc. Our supply chain. Promoting ESG compliance throughout the supply chain. Companies can mitigate risks and promote sustainability on a broader scale. If we can remember, we have seen the report of Apollo Hospitals in the first session, where they say that they have assessed all their 100% suppliers, all suppliers, 100% suppliers against their code of conduct, which is a very serious thing. So a hospital buying many things from outside, services and products, medicine, and so many things, equipments. So they say that their code of conduct is there and they have assessed. It could be as minimum as virtual assessment, self-assessment, but still they have done it. So it is a due diligence they have done. So for supply chain, even a manufacturing unit like a ready-made garment manufacturing company, they can also assess their own suppliers because there are many alternatives. If any supplier is not interested to share their data, drop them gradually and then talk to them. And then if they don't want to improve, find alternatives. So supply chain is a thing where we should then community engagement, definitely. We will engage with communities and involve in assessing the social impact of their operations, including community development initiatives, philanthropic activities, and stakeholder engagement. Importantly, you see, there are some many companies in Bangladesh. So where they are located, they create a school. So they have like old age home, or they have like community initiatives like free clinics or free medicine distribution or like eye camp. I've seen many initiatives, even like very short-term initiatives like relief, providing like during flood, they provide some relief, or during winter, they provide like warm clothes. These are like very short-term initiative, but um, they can do that, and many companies are doing it, and they're reporting it in a very good way. So this is the area of data collection we will do, and then activity-wise, we'll look into activities, and then I'd like to invite Ms. Nishat, our colleague. Sorry that she was little kind of outside, and then yeah, I'd like to invite her. If Nishat, if you can hear me, you can introduce. We have few activities for this class, and we will basically request you to complete 3 activities before our next session, which is due again next Friday, probably. So if everything goes well. So Nishato, can you hear me? I'm trying to connect. If not, then I'll also continue. So okay, sorry, Ms. Nishat is having little connectivity issues. So yeah, let me continue. So it is simple that your organization wants to disclose energy consumption and efficiency in their systematic report. The chapter will include energy uses and effort to improve efficiency. You need to collect data on the use of electricity, natural gas, and fuel, and other energy sources consumed across various operations. Additionally, information on energy saving initiatives such as renewable energy uses, energy efficient equipment, and conservational measures. The shareholders will assess energy consumption trends over time for further contextualizing the organization's performance in the area. Create indicators for collecting required information for the above segment within the table given below. Data indicator, it could be, what could be the data indicator? Description, unit 1, and unit, what could be the unit of the data collection, and then year 1, 2, 3. When we say year 1, 2, 3, if you can remember the Ericsson report example, they have given few years data. So usually a sustainability report, it contains 3 years data. So, the data trend can be, so the data trend can be assessed, and so the data trend can be known. So you can select like just kind of giving this kind of example. So if your company uses natural gas, you can write natural gas, little description, and then unit, cubic meter. So in year 1, how much cubic meter it was consumed, and year 2 and 3. The year could be like 2020, or like year could be like 2019, 2020, 2021, or it could be a different year. So there could be another data indicator, which is electricity bought from the national grid. So that can be another. So in Bangladesh, there is no separate electricity, which is we call renewable electricity and conventional electricity. So we have only one national grid. So we get all electricity from there. So these are like 2 data indicators, and we can also see the next example. So it says your organization has identified employment as one of the material topics. Of course, organization's top management decided to provide a stakeholder with a comprehensive information on the organization's approach on managing its workforce, including data on employment diversity, employee turnover, and initiative promoting employee well-being and development. By reporting on employment-related metrics, your organization will communicate its fair labor practices and employee engagement and create a positive work environment. Okay, so create indicators for collecting required information for the above segment within the table given below. Okay, so what could be the indicator? So as simple as it is, we can look back to some of the reports we have actually discussed, or you can also Google some of the reports. You will find data indicator. So it could be number of employees, male and female, indigenous, and then employee turnover. How many hours of training provided? Out of those training, how many hours were like over health and safety? So these are the different data indicators. So you can put description, and definitely unit will be head count, and as well as for training it will be hours. And again, year 1, 2, 3. If you can find this data, please find this data from your HR department, or if you are already working in the HR, it's easy for you to do. So then the next activity regarding financial. So your organization's stakeholder are keen to know its financial reports. The economic performance chapter will encompass various metrics, including revenue, expenses, profitability, and investment, providing stakeholders within insights into the organization's financial health and sustainability. You need to collect the information from the finance department. By transparently reporting on economic performance, your organization will demonstrate accountability, foster investor confidence, and enhance stakeholders' trust. So what could be the data indicators? So definitely some are already mentioned here, like a revenue, expenses, profit, and investment, and also dividends provided. These are the data indicators can be collected for this activity. What we will do, we will provide this as a separate slide to BIM, Nazmini as well, and he will distribute you among you. And please do this exercise for your own organization so that we can discuss in our next session. We cannot go to everyone, but please be prepared and please volunteer who would like to share. And definitely for finance part, use the audited data. The data already basically used for your financial reporting to government authorities. The data may be a couple of years old to remain in the safe side. Okay, so now we will look some data template examples which are very detailed and meticulous. So this is environmental indicators. If we can actually look into it. So it says energy consumption, that's the subheading, and scope is fossil fuel indicators. So natural gas, burning oil, diesel, total how much. Then scope 1 emission, natural gas emission, and then burning oil emission, diesel total. So it is given, then it converts into kilowatt hour, and data quality definitely, and then definition is also provided. So this is one of the example of the data template or view. We have just like crop it. It's an Excel file. From that Excel file, we cut it and cropped it and we placed it on the PPT. So while we do that, this is a very detailed, it's like hundreds of fields and of course, hundreds of rows of data collection. And then this Excel file analyzes this data in detail. So this is environmental indicators, social. How do we do? So it's like number of employees, full-time or equivalent number of employees, then thereof turnover, temporary workers, part-time employees, number of employees in management supervisory position, and then working condition, average weekly working hour per full-time employee, and then procedure to measure the working hour. So in Bangladesh, we also see that it's mostly digital, this working hour recording system. So these are like social data. It's not very complicated. So data template example could be like this. So it is also that injuries, see how a company has actually reported their injury related data. So it's number of work related injuries that they will collect, and source and guidance they have taken from ILO, and related framework and standard they have quoted like GRI, which and this and that. Number of work related fatalities, that is also they have collected from ILO, and days lost due to injury, that is also from ILO, and where does it connect. So this is how a company actually has done it. So economic data, turnover, then total revenue distributed, revenue retained, and payable to government, which is tax. So a company pays a lot of tax, and we see National Board of Revenue recognizes highest taxpayers many times, commercially important person, and many other initiatives taken by the authority. So we have heard about some principles. So these principles we will look into for a good report. So accuracy is number one. So detail oriented, then we should disclose an error, should be evidence based, and transparent measurements should be there. That's accuracy. Balance, equitable emphasis, unbiased reporting, and fact versus interpretation. So interpretation is a different thing. Fact is fact. So we have to be very careful in balancing. And also balance also brings in like telling good and bad both sides. It is not only telling only the good and rosy like positive things. Rather, we'll also share the challenges and hiccups or any mishaps in a company. So then comparability. So time series analysis, that's why even in activities we have given 3 years, and also standard metrics, and then methodological consistency. So it should be consistent all over the report, the methods, and historical context that need to be there. And clarity. So information need to be accessible, and then navigatable or navigable content, then jargon free visual aids. So using like very complicated jargon words, that doesn't add any value to any sustainability report. Sustainability report should be comprehensible for everyone. It could be technical person, non-technical person, finance person, sustainability person, environmental person, engineers, and then social science person, because everyone is having their own area of interest, and that report should be written to cater everyone. So then completeness, full disclosure should be there, half disclosure should not be, and reporting period activities, and entity coverage, transparency in omission. If there is any omission, we have discussed it in the first session, that there could be, even if a topic is made material, we may have omission for that. So sustainability context. So SDG alignment, we have already seen. Then authoritative references, we must have to cite references when you use any information, and we use information for all chapters. Goal-oriented reporting and sector-specific context. Timeliness, disclosure relevant timing, and then quality versus speed and consistent schedules. Then verifiability, so examination ready, documented process, assurance ready systems, and evidence-based reporting. So we have to be prepared that anytime anyone may ask question, so that we are always ready with evidence to clarify those queries. So I think that's it. Someone just asked that when it will end, because we have started like 20 minutes late because of the technical glitch. So it took like a little more. So 9:30 was the end time, but now exactly at 9:50. So exactly 20 minutes late. So thank you very much, everyone. If you have any question, you can just ask or write in the chat box, or slides. Definitely, we'll share the slides through BIM, and then these slides you will get day after tomorrow. Tomorrow we have another session, or tomorrow we will share. And last session slides definitely you will get through BIM. And today's activity you will also receive. And additional some materials we'll share. We'll share also through BIM. And some of the materials may be very how to say big in terms of file size, and then we can use Google Drive to share those. So yes, please ask question, unmute yourself and ask question.
স্যার আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার। স্যার আপনি অ্যাক্টিভিটি যে তিনটা দেখিয়েছেন আর কি, যে এনার্জি
হ্যাঁ।
কনজাম্পশনের যে ডাটা চার্ট বা যেটা মানে রেকর্ড কিপিং এর জন্য যেটা সাস্টেনেবিলিটি, যে তিনটা অ্যাক্টিভিটি দেখেছেন এগুলো কি আমাদের অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট নাকি
হ্যাঁ,
জাস্ট মানে
এটা অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট। হ্যাঁ, এটা মানে আসলে কি ধরেন ফেস টু ফেস সেশন তো হচ্ছে না, আমরা তো ওইভাবে করতে পারবো না। আপনারা নিজেরা এটা করে রাখবেন, যখন আমরা আলোচনা করব তখন আলোচনার মাঝে আপনারা তখন এটা শেয়ার করলেন আমাদের সাথে।
এটা তো জাস্ট অ্যাজ ইট ইজ যেটা আমরা হিগের জন্য করে থাকি, যে ইয়ার বাই
হ্যাঁ,
ইয়ার
হ্যাঁ,
আমরা যে
exactly,
কনজাম্পশন রিডাকশনের জন্য যেটা আমরা
exactly.
করে থাকি 5 ইয়ার্স
হ্যাঁ,
এর একটা যেটা প্ল্যান থাকে বা ইয়ারটা যেটা ওভাবেই তো না?
হ্যাঁ, ওইভাবেই হবে, বাট হিগেরটা আরো ডিটেইল থাকে, আরো বলতে পারেন যে কমপ্লিকেটেড, এটা মোর ইজিয়ার।
আচ্ছা স্যার, আর একটা হচ্ছে যেটা ওয়ার্কারদের যে ইস্যুর জন্য যেটা বলেছেন, যে মানে কনটেক্সটটা যেটা ছিল, ওখানে কি ওই ইস্যুগুলো আসতে পারে? সাপোজ ওয়ার্কারদের ট্রেনিং, হেলথ এন্ড সেফটি,
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ,
তারপর হচ্ছে সাপোজ ওদের যে চাইল্ড কেয়ার ফর দেয়ার বেবিজ, মানে এই যে ফ্যাসিলিটিস গুলো, এইগুলোর কারণে তো তাদের টার্ন ওভারটা কমে যায়। ওয়ার্কারদের টার্ন ওভার কমে গেলে তখন তো মানে কোম্পানির জন্য যে ওয়ার্কারদের যে স্যাটিসফ্যাকশনটা, ওটা তো স্বাভাবিকভাবে ইনক্রিজ করবে। মানে এই ইস্যুস গুলো বা এই পয়েন্ট গুলো কি ওখানে অ্যাড করা যায় কিনা?
হ্যাঁ, আপনি অ্যাড করবেন। আপনি ডেটা পয়েন্ট হিসেবে যদি আপনি রাখতে চান, আপনি অবশ্যই অ্যাড করবেন যে আপনার চাইল্ড কেয়ার ফ্যাসিলিটিতে কতজন বেবি থাকে,
জি জি
হ্যাঁ, আপনার ম্যাটারনিটি রিসিভ করেছে কতজন ফিমেল। তো এগুলো
জি
যদি আপনারা রাখেন, ফাইন, ফ্যান্টাস্টিক, দিস আর ফ্যান্টাস্টিক আইডিয়াস। আপনারা এগুলো রাখবেন, এবং এগুলোকে অনেক বলতে হবে যে হ্যাঁ, আমাদের কোম্পানি ফ্রেন্ডলি ফর ফিমেল, অ্যান্ড কি বলবো, ম্যাটারনিটি আমাদের আছে, ফুল ম্যাটারনিটি পে করা হয়, চাইল্ড কেয়ার সেন্টার আছে।
জি জি
তো অবশ্যই এগুলো আপনি রাখবেন ডেটা।
আচ্ছা, থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
জি, থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। So I think we can stay like 2-3 minutes more if anyone of you have any question. Someone have asked a PPT. I'll share this with tomorrow, Bhaiya, not today. Tomorrow we'll do, because we have a session on same topic tomorrow. So after the session tomorrow, we'll share it.
Sir, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Good evening, sir.
Ji.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please, loud and clear. Ji.
Sir, I have a more of a generic question. As we started our sustainability drive back in 2013, and coming
Super.
over to the 2024, the number of companies actually maintaining that sustainability or reporting is around hovering around 15 to 20. Lately, we have seen that our pollution index, waste management index, all have gone down. And simultaneously, the pressure of the international community is growing. Like recently, US and European Union has expressed their concern. Now, as the RNG is one of the main sectors in our country, and there are many to take over the market we have, especially India and nearby Pakistan. So how the government is going to encourage the companies, those are not enlisting, or how they are going to compete in the future to adapt to the new scenario?
Difficult to answer, because it's diplomatic and kind of, as you have brought in, like government. So see, apart from the quota, government, I don't know how much has contributed in development of this sector. Rather, private entrepreneurs with the loan or fund from the banks, they actually did this kind of thing. And as you have already mentioned, there are pressure always from international brands. So it is that it is going and happening through, like, how to say it, private way. It is not that the government is actually in a way intervening anywhere. And we have many member of the parliament from this sector, but even there is no separate focused ministry. And some says it is not even needed. So it's kind of a very delicate topic to discuss. However, it's open market economy. So competition will always be there. So our neighboring country or Pakistan, they always will try. They are trying. So it's open, how to say it, like competition. And we have to survive with all these challenges. And the companies, those who are ahead, they have implemented some initiatives. They are reaping the benefit now. Any sustainability initiative, it pays back within certain time. And sometimes this green factory, they talk in many forum that we have made our building green, LEED green certified. We have this and that initiative. We have invested a lot. Then are we getting more price? But definitely they should get better price, their industrial practice. But if I ask them, their cost is low than a conventional factory. So this is the thing that if we view in a very good way, that government interventions may not be needed everywhere. Government is there to revise the legislations and upgrade the legislations. They provide some stimulus package for the exporters. They facilitate some environment or business environment. That much it's happening, but yeah, specific focus to our neighbor countries. They are trying also to stimulate their business and export. Definitely protectionism will be there and support will be there. And traditionally, we are textile producing country. So the Bengal denim and also that Bengal textile, it was destroyed by the colonizers. But then again, we came back and we are again producing a lot of textile items. We are exporting it. So let's see, actually this open market economy, we cannot say anything for sure that in long term what will happen, but in short term, definitely government has some initiative and some help for the entrepreneurs. But to remain competitive in the international market, this support or short-term help will not help. Because for our other country like Pakistan, their currency devaluation actually affected them a lot, and there are a lot of challenges and lot of stimulus package were needed. So for long-term sustainability, sometimes it's not like helpful. So I think whoever want to leave, because we have been, the class is over, please feel free to leave. And whoever would like to stay back and kind of have few questions discussed, please stay back, no issue.
জি, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Okay, ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম।
আমি আরিফ বলছিলাম। তো আমাদের এখানে একটা মানে আমাদের এখানে না শুধু অ্যারাউন্ড দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড আপনার ট্রান্সপোর্ট সেক্টরটা অনেক বড়। তো ওরা প্রচুর কার্বন নিঃসরণ করছে। তো এটার জন্য কোনো স্ট্যান্ডার্ড আছে কিনা? ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন সেক্টরের কথা বলছি।
হ্যাঁ।
তো ওরা কিন্তু প্রচুর কার্বন তারা নিঃসরণ করছে এনভায়রনমেন্টে। এদের জন্য কোনো স্ট্যান্ডার্ড আছে কিনা? আরেকটা হচ্ছে আপনি রিপোর্টের কথা বলছেন, সাস্টেনেবল রিপোর্টে। তো ওইখানে কোনো স্ট্যান্ডার্ড আছে কিনা যে আমি এই প্রোডাক্টের জন্য আমি এতটুকু কার্বন বা এতটুকু এনার্জি আমি একটা রিপোর্ট করলাম, ঠিক আছে, আমার রিডাকশন করার প্ল্যান আছে, সবই আছে, বাট কোনো মনিটরিং সিস্টেম আছে কিনা যে আমি এর বেশি করলে আমার ফাইন হবে বা এই স্ট্যান্ডার্ডে থাকতে হবে, এরকম কিছু কি এখনো নির্ধারণ হয়েছে কিনা? থ্যাংক ইউ।
হ্যাঁ, দুইটা প্রশ্ন দুই ভাগে বিভক্ত। একটা হচ্ছে ট্রান্সপোর্টেশনের জন্য কোনো স্ট্যান্ডার্ড আছে কিনা বা কোনো কিছু আপনার পরিমাপ করার কোনো ব্যবস্থা আছে কিনা। হ্যাঁ, ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন সেক্টরের জন্য যেটা আছে, অর্থাৎ ট্রান্সপোর্টেশনের বিভিন্ন সেগমেন্ট আমরা তো জানি আছে। একটা হলো শিপ, দেন এয়ার, দেন অলসো লোকাল ট্রান্সপোর্ট বাই ট্রাকস এন্ড বাস। সো these are all factor dependent, and how it is kind of converted based on the use of fuel. So if মানে জাহাজ কত ঘন্টা চললো এবং এটাতে কতটুকু ফিউল কনজাম্পশন হলো, তার উপরে ভিত্তি করে কিন্তু আপনার ফ্যাক্টর দিয়ে ওটাকে এমিশন ফ্যাক্টর গুলোকে বের করা হয়, এবং সেটাকে আবার ডিভাইড করে ওই প্রোডাক্ট অথবা ওইটার ইউজেস এই অনুযায়ী ওটাকে কাউন্ট ব্যাক করে করে ফেলা যায়। ট্রাক বাসের জন্য তাই সবকিছুর ক্ষেত্রে এটা করা সম্ভব। হ্যাঁ, এই এটা ধরে এটা করা যায়, এটা পসিবল। আর আরেকটা যেটা বলেছেন যে
না,
এটার জন্য
এটা করা যায় আমি সেটা বলতেছি, বা এটার কোনো স্ট্যান্ডার্ড আছে কিনা? তারা যে মানে কেউ বেশি দিচ্ছে, যে সে একটা এত সিসির ইঞ্জিন, সে এতটুকু কার্বন নিঃসরণ করতে পারবে, এর বেশি হলে তার ফাইন হবে। তো
হুম,
তারা যে ফিটনেস বা এটার যে কন্ডিশন, এটার কি কোনো মনিটরিং সিস্টেম আছে কিনা, ওইটাই জানতে চাচ্ছিলাম আর কি। যেমন আপনার, আমরা যদি বলি ওসানে, যদি বলি আপনার সি যেটা
হুম,
বললেন, ওদের আছে, ফাইন হয় অনেকগুলা, ওয়ার্ল্ড ওয়াইড অনেকগুলা যে প্রতিষ্ঠান আছে যেগুলো অবজার্ভ করে। কিন্তু
হুম।
আমাদের লোকাল ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন বলেন বা অন্যান্য দেশের, এটার কোনো মেজারিং কোনো আছে কিনা,
কি না ভাই,
এটা
এগুলা
জানতে
কোনো কিছু নাই। যেমন বাংলাদেশে ধরেন আমাদের ফিটনেস, আপনার মোটর ভেহিকেলের ফিটনেস এর ব্যাপারটা কি একটা ডিজাস্টার অবস্থা। যারা আমরা ধরেন এই বিষয়টার সাথে ন্যূনতম হলেও জড়িত, ইট কুড বি ফর ইউর ওন ভেহিকেল অর অথবা অফিসের যদি আপনারা কোনো কিছু ম্যানেজ করে থাকেন, ফিটনেস বা ফিটনেসের দেখা অথবা এটার এমিশন ফ্যাক্টর বা এগুলা সেগুলা কোনো কিছু বাংলাদেশে কিচ্ছু নাই, নাথিং, জিরো। সো এটা আসলে ওইভাবে কোনো কিছু করা হয় না। প্লাস আরেকটা জিনিস আছে যে খুবই ইম্পর্টেন্ট ফ্যাক্টর, আমরা যেমন ডিজেল ইউজ করি, এই ডিজেলের কনভার্সন ফ্যাক্টর বাংলাদেশে আমরা যে ডিজেলটা ইউজ করি আর ইউরোপে যে ডিজেলটা ইউজ হচ্ছে বা ইউএসএ তে যে ডিজেলটা ইউজ হচ্ছে, এটার ফ্যাক্টর কিন্তু আলাদা। হ্যাঁ, জিএসজি এমিশন ফ্যাক্টর কিন্তু আলাদা, কারণ আমাদের এই এলাকাতে যে ডিজেলটা আমরা ইউজ করি, এটা ধরেন ইমপিউরিটিজ অনেক বেশি থাকে, ঝামেলা অনেক বেশি থাকে। ইউরোপে ওদের আইন কানুন অনেক কড়া, সো ইটস স্ট্রিনজেন্ট, মোর স্ট্রিনজেন্ট। ওদের এমিশন ফ্যাক্টর গুলো দেখা যাচ্ছে আরো কি বলবো ডিফারেন্ট দেন আওয়ার্স। সো আমাদের যেহেতু স্ট্যান্ডার্ডে বা রিকোয়ারমেন্টে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে এত বেশি টাইট না, সো আমাদের ইমপিউরিটিস থাকা অবস্থায় ডিজেল আমরা ব্যবহার করে ফেলতেছি। এগুলো বলতে পারেন যে মোর সাইন্টিফিক। আমাদের এক্সপার্ট আছে, আমাদের টিমে ইঞ্জিনিয়ার্সরা আছে, তারা হয়তো আপনাকে যখন আমরা ওয়ান টু ওয়ান সেপারেট ডিসকাশনে বসতে আপনি যদি চান আমরা বসাই দিব, ওরা দে উইল টেক ইউ মোর ডিপার ইন দ্য ডিসকাশন। এটা আলোচনা করে আর ওই করে নিয়ে যাওয়া যাবে। ওকে,
জি।
ফাইন। আর কোনো কোশ্চেন
আরেকটা
আছে?
কোশ্চেন, জি জি,
জি জি, বলেন না।
আরেকটা কোশ্চেন ছিল, আপনার ওই যে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল সেক্টরে যে আমরা যদি যাই প্রোডাক্টিভিটিতে, তো ওইখানে কোনো স্ট্যান্ডার্ড আছে কিনা, যে আমার আরএনজি সেক্টরে যদি আমি বলি যে
হুম।
আমার এই প্রোডাক্টের জন্য আমি এতটুকু কার্বন নিঃসরণ করতে পারবো, হোয়াট এভার, আমি মানে এনভায়রনমেন্টে এটা এতটুকু আমি দিতে পারবো, এর বেশি পারবো না। তো এরকম কোনো স্ট্যান্ডার্ড আছে কিনা, না আমরা শুধু রিপোর্ট করব, রিডাকশন প্ল্যান নিবো, এরকমই?
স্ট্যান্ডার্ড বলতে গেলে এখন এরকম নাই। লাইফ সাইকেল অ্যাসেসমেন্ট, যেটা জিএসজি এমিশনের লাইফ সাইকেল অ্যাসেসমেন্ট, এখন কিছু কিছু ব্র্যান্ড তাদের প্রোডাক্টের জন্য অলরেডি শুরু করেছে। ইনফ্যাক্ট আমরাও করেছি লাইফ সাইকেল অ্যাসেসমেন্ট কিছু প্রোডাক্টের জন্য। স্ট্যান্ডার্ড এইভাবে এখনো সেট হয় নাই, এবং এটা একদম যে স্ট্রেট ফরওয়ার্ড করা যাবে তাও করা যাবে না, সহজ কাজ না। কারণ প্রত্যেকটা প্রোডাক্ট ডিফারেন্ট। একটা টি শার্টের সাথে হয়তো একটা টি শার্ট স্ট্রেট ফরওয়ার্ড ম্যাচ করতে পারে, ওই টি শার্টের উপর প্রিন্ট আসলেই ওটা ডিফারেন্ট হয়ে যাবে। অথবা একটা ফর্মাল শার্ট, একটা ফর্মাল প্যান্ট, একটা ডেনিম প্যান্ট, হ্যাঁ সবকিছু ডিফারেন্ট, একটা আন্ডারওয়্যার, সবকিছু ডিফারেন্ট কিন্তু। হ্যাঁ, সো এগুলোকে স্ট্যান্ডার্ডাইজ এখনো ওইভাবে আমরা পাচ্ছি না। তবে দ্য ওয়ার্ক হ্যাজ বিন স্টার্টেড, কিছু কিছু ব্র্যান্ড অলরেডি শুরু করতেছে এবং আমরা করে দিয়েছি অলরেডি কাপল অফ ব্র্যান্ডের জন্য এই ধরনের কাজ। তো এগুলো আস্তে আস্তে এই নলেজ গুলো মার্কেটে আসতেছে, কেবল ইনিশিয়াল স্টেজে এগুলো বলতে পারেন, এখনো অ্যাভেলেবল না ওয়াইডলি। এগুলোর কাজ হচ্ছে ইনিশিয়াল স্টেজে একদম।
জি, থ্যাংক ইউ।
থ্যাংক ইউ। ওয়েল, 10টা বাজে। আহ, আমি অ্যাভেলেবল থাকবো, যদি কোশ্চেন কারো থাকে নো ইস্যু, আপনারা ওয়ান টু ওয়ানও জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারেন। পরেও জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারেন। আমি লিঙ্কডইন ইয়েটা আমি আপনাদের এখানে চ্যাট বক্সে দিয়ে দিতে পারি, আমার লিঙ্কডইন প্রোফাইলটা। তাহলে আপনারা যদি কেউ প্রশ্ন করতে চান, আমাকে যদি প্রশ্ন করতে চান তাহলে সহজ হবে। এমনিতে সার্চ করলে, আমার নাম দিয়ে সার্চ করলেও পেয়ে যাবেন লিঙ্কডইনটা। সো তারপরও আমি দিয়ে রাখতেছি আপনাদের সুবিধার্থে। হ্যাঁ, অনেকেই অলরেডি ড্রপ করে গিয়েছেন, কোনো বাধা নাই। সো বিআইএম থেকেও ওনারা রেকর্ড করে নিয়েছেন আশা করি। ইট ওয়াজ হাইয়েস্ট অ্যাজ হাই অ্যাজ 103 and 4. So participants are there. So আমার লিঙ্কডইন প্রোফাইল চ্যাট বক্সে আমি দিয়ে দিয়েছি। সো আপনারা যদি কানেক্ট করতে চান, সেন্ড মি ফ্রেন্ড ইনভিটেশন। লিঙ্কডইনে আমি ভীষণ অ্যাক্টিভ, লিঙ্কডইনে মেসেজ করলে আই উইল বি মোর দ্যান হ্যাপি। সো লিঙ্কডইনে কমিউনিকেশন করতে আমার সবচেয়ে বেশি মানে কনভিনিয়েন্ট মনে হয়। ফাইন, থ্যাংক ইউ। তাহলে if there is nothing, then we'll meet again next week, inshallah. As per the BIMS schedule, you will get email and we'll connect again. And feel free to ask question. And again, যেহেতু আমি GRI প্রফেশনাল, এই নিয়ে কাজ করছি, GRI nominated trainer, so I'll be more than happy to help. So thank you. যদি একজনের হাত আছে এখনো জানি না, খলিলুর রহমান, যদি কিছু বলতে চান প্লিজ।
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার। স্যার, আপনি বলছিলেন যে এই সাস্টেইনেবিলিটি যে রিপোর্টটা আছে সেটা হচ্ছে যে কোনো হচ্ছে পাবলিক ডোমেনে দেয়া যাবে। এখন
জি।
বিষয়টা হচ্ছে যদি কারো নিজস্ব ওয়েবসাইট থাকে সেখানে তো সে দিল। এখন
জি।
এমন কোন পাবলিক ডোমেইন আছে কিনা যেখানে দিলে আমার ইনফরমেশনটা বুস্টিং হবে এবং আমার যে টার্গেট গ্রুপ তার কাছে পৌঁছাবে,
হুম।
এটা একটা বিষয়। আর
কেটে যাচ্ছে, শুনতে পাচ্ছি না আর। খালিদ ভাই শুনতে পাচ্ছি না। হ্যালো,
স্যার কি হ্যাঁ স্যার কি
বলেন।
আমার প্রশ্ন শুনতেছেন
একটা
স্যার?
শুনতে পেয়েছি, একটা, সেটা হচ্ছে পাবলিক ডোমেইনে দেওয়ার ব্যাপারটা, বুস্টিং এর ব্যাপারটা। পরে আরেকটা ছিল বলছিলেন।
আর আরেকটা বিষয় হচ্ছে ঠিক একটা অর্গানাইজেশনের ভলিউম কতটুকু হলে তাদেরকে চিন্তা করতে হবে যে সাস্টেনেবিলিটি রিপোর্টটা তাদের তৈরি করা উচিত।
সবই আপেক্ষিক কোশ্চেন। সো ফাইন, বাংলায় বলি। সেটা হচ্ছে যে আপনার যদি ওয়েবসাইট না থাকে, আপনি পাবলিকেশন করার ক্ষেত্রে বিভিন্ন ইনিশিয়েটিভ নিতে পারেন। যেমন আপনি কয়েকটি কপি প্রিন্ট করতে পারেন, যদিও এটা একটা সাস্টেনেবল মিডিয়াম নয় প্রিন্ট করাটা, অনেকেই সাজেস্ট করেন না, বাট আপনি প্রিন্ট করে আপনার মোস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট স্টেক হোল্ডারদের কাছে আপনি কমিউনিকেশনের জন্য পাঠিয়ে দিতে পারেন, পোস্ট করে অথবা যে ভিজিট করে দিয়ে আসতে পারেন। আর ওয়েবসাইট আমার মনে হয় এখন অনেক অনেক চিপার হয়ে গেছে, যে কেউ ওয়েবসাইট বাংলাদেশ থেকে কিনে দিতে পারে। ইট কুড বি অ্যাজ লো অ্যাজ $10, $15 আবার ওয়েবসাইট ডিজাইনটাও এখন অনেক অ্যাভেলেবল হয়েছে, টেমপ্লেট পাওয়া যায়, টেমপ্লেট দিয়েও কিন্তু করা যায়। সো আপনারা যদি একেবারেই খুবই একদম ছোট কোম্পানিও হন, ইট কুড বি লাইক 10-15 পিপল, আপনারা যদি একটা ওয়েবসাইট করতে চান এবং টেমপ্লেট বেসড ওয়েবসাইট করলে আপনি যেখান থেকে ডোমেইন কিনবেন বা হোস্টিং কিনবেন, ওরা আপনাকে ইভেন টেমপ্লেটও দিয়ে দিবে, ওখানে আপনি আপলোড করেও দিতে পারবেন। সো সিম্পল ওয়েতে এটা একটা হচ্ছে প্রিন্টিং করেও করতে পারেন কমিউনিকেশন। আর কিভাবে করবেন এটা আসলে ডিপেন্ড করবে যে আপনার এই স্টোরিটা আপনি কাকে বলতে চান। আপনার কাস্টমার যারা, হ্যাঁ, আপনার কাস্টমারকে আপনি জানাবেন, আপনার স্টেক হোল্ডার যারা তাদেরকে আপনি জানাবেন, শেয়ার হোল্ডার যদি থাকে কেউ শেয়ার হোল্ডারদেরকে জানাবেন, যদি এটা জয়েন্ট স্টকে রেজিস্টার্ড পাবলিক কোম্পানি হয় যে হাজার হাজার শেয়ার হোল্ডার আছে। সো এটা স্ট্র্যাটেজিক ওয়েতে করতে হবে। যদি আপনার ইন্টারেস্টেড কাস্টমার থাকে তাদের জন্য আপনি রিপোর্টের চুম্বক অংশ, বাংলায় যেটাকে চুম্বক অংশ আমরা বলি, মেইন পার্ট গুলোকে নিয়ে আপনারা পিপিটি করে ফেলতে পারেন, অথবা ট্রানজিশনাল পিপিটি করে একটা ভিডিও বানায় ফেলতে পারেন। ভিডিও বানায় আপনি 1 মিনিট 2 মিনিটের ক্লিপ করে পাঠিয়ে দিতে পারেন, অথবা গুগল ড্রাইভে আপ করে শেয়ার করে দিতে পারেন। যেমন অ্যাপলের ভিডিওটা আমরা দেখেছিলাম, নকিয়ার ভিডিও দেখেছিলাম। ইভেন ইফ দে হ্যাভ এ ভেরি ডিটেইল রিপোর্ট, লাইক নকিয়ার রিপোর্টটা তো ছিল 250 পেজের মতো, তারপর দেখেন ওরা 2 মিনিটের একটা সুন্দর ভিডিও বানাইছিল এবং ইএসজি 3টা টপিক কাভার করে সুন্দর করে একটা কমিউনিকেশন ভিডিও করে দিছিল। কারণ দিন শেষে কারোরই আসলে সময় থাকে না, হ্যাঁ, একটা রিপোর্ট পড়ার এবং ই করার। তো আমরা আগ্রহটাকে তৈরি করতে হয়, সময়টাকে বের করে নিতে হয়, যাতে ওই মানুষটা বা ওই ক্লায়েন্টটা বা ওই কাস্টমারটা আসলে আমার এই রিপোর্ট পড়ার ব্যাপারে আগ্রহ প্রকাশ করে বা আগ্রহী হয়। তখন আপনার ওটা আপনার ফার্দার একটা স্টেপ, যে আপনি কমিউনিকেশন একটা টুল করলেন, সেটার ভিত্তি করে উনি এসে আপনার রিপোর্টটা পড়ে দেখলো। ইটস এ স্ট্র্যাটেজিং, এবং কমিউনিকেশনের কিছু এক্সপার্ট মানুষজন আছে যাদের কাজই হলো কমিউনিকেশন স্ট্র্যাটেজি সেট করে দেওয়া। আমি ভাই কমিউনিকেশন মানুষ না, আমি ডিজাইনারও না, বাট আমরা এই রিপোর্ট লেখা টেখা এগুলা টেকনিক্যাল কাজ করি। সো এটা পার্ট গেল একটা। আর সেকেন্ড প্রশ্ন ছিল যে কত বড় কোম্পানি হলে আপনারা রিপোর্ট করবেন। আসলে এটা আসলে আপেক্ষিক, সম্পূর্ণরূপেই আপেক্ষিক। আপনার কোম্পানি ছোট হলেও আপনার বায়ার বা আপনার কাস্টমাররা যদি এটা চায়, এবং যদি আপনার এটা হেল্পফুল হয় আপনার ব্র্যান্ডিং এর জন্য, আপনার কোম্পানির বিজনেসের জন্য, তাহলে আপনি অবশ্যই করবেন। এবং এটা স্ট্যান্ডার্ড ফলো করেও হতে পারে, স্ট্যান্ডার্ড ফলো করে না ফলো করেও হতে পারে। হ্যাঁ, যে কোনো ভাবেই এটা হতে পারে, যে ইউ ক্যান ফলো এ স্ট্যান্ডার্ড অর এ ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক অর ইভেন এ সিম্পল ইএসজি রিপোর্ট। হ্যাঁ, আমরা উই নো লাইক ফিউ কোম্পানি যারা অনেক ছোট কোম্পানি, জাস্ট ট্রেডিং হাউস, বাইং হাউস, তারা কিন্তু সাস্টেইনেবিলিটি রিপোর্ট করে। কেন করে? তাদের একটা নিশ আছে, তাদের একটা নিশ কাস্টমার বেজ আছে যারা চায় যে শুধু সাস্টেনেবল প্রোডাক্ট মিক্স চায়, লিড গ্রিন সার্টিফাইড ফ্যাক্টরি যারা, সেখান থেকেই তারা সোর্স করতে চায়। এবং তারা বলছে দেখেন এটা আমাদেরকে অনেক হেল্প করে। ইটস এ ভেরি স্মল কোম্পানি, অনলি লাইক 17 to 20 পিপল। হ্যাঁ, যদি আমরা ধরি ছোট্ট একটা কোম্পানি, বাট তাদের বিজনেস টার্নওভার একেবারে ছোট তা না, বাট স্টিল তারা কিন্তু এরকম রিপোর্ট করছে, ইএসজি রিপোর্ট। সো ইট ডিপেন্ডস অন দ্য বিজনেস স্ট্র্যাটেজি অ্যান্ড অলসো ইউর ডিমান্ড ফ্রম ইউর ক্লায়েন্ট কাস্টমার, অ্যান্ড অলসো হাউ ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু ব্র্যান্ড ইউর সেলফ অ্যামং ইউর কাস্টমার্স। যদি আপনারা চান, আপনারা অবশ্যই করতে পারেন। একদম সিম্পল ওয়েতে করতে পারেন, ইট নট নিড টু বি লাইক এ জিআরআই কমপ্লিট রিপোর্ট, বাট সিম্পল ওয়েতেও করতে পারেন। থ্যাংক ইউ। ফাইন, আমরা মনে হয় 40-এ নেমে আসছি পার্টিসিপেশন। আমরা এখন ড্রপ করতে পারি, 10 বাজে। So it was great discussing with you. Anytime you can connect me over LinkedIn. আমরা কানেক্টেড থাকবো। এরপরেও যদি কেউ চান লিঙ্কডইনে আমাকে নক করলে, আমি হয়তোবা যদি হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ নাম্বার চান আমি দিয়ে দিতে পারবো, সমস্যা নেই। No issue. Fine, great. So let's stop here for today, and then we meet again inshallah next week, and or as per the requirement of BIM. So thank you, Allah Hafiz, সবাইকে, bye bye.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.